Hello everyone, welcome to Analog IAS Economy Prelims 2020 Special Series, and today's topic will be Corona bonds. As we all know, our present world is stuck with the biggest crisis since World War II, that is COVID-19. So almost the entire European continent is facing this heat, and just like any other country, there is definitely a need for some sort of loan or debt for economic revival. This is the context with which we are going forward in this present issue. So what is Corona bond? Basically, we are talking about a kind of a debt that is equally lent to all the European Union members. Now, why do we call this collective debt? Because in the present context, it is the European Bank that will lend to the European Union members collectively, and when I say collectively, it generally means that all the countries together are liable to pay this loan back. Now, what is a debt instrument? It is nothing but a sort of a loan, and this loan will have an interest, and after a certain period of time, the person or the entity that is taking this loan should pay back with an interest. That is the most simplistic explanation of a loan or a bond. Now, why are we providing this incentive? Basically, the objective here is to ensure that after the COVID-19 crisis, under a lockdown, just like in our country, elsewhere as well, we are witnessing a severe financial stress to that particular country. So, Eurozone countries have decided to take some sort of a loan or support from the European Bank. So this particular debt is collectively taken by all the members of the European Union. However, there is a small caveat. There is an issue. Not all the countries in the European Union are in favor of this idea. Only 9 countries have supported till now. However, there are 4 countries called the Frugal 4. So this is another UPSC question, probable question. If there is a question which says something like this, Frugal 4, which is recently in news, is associated with which of the following? So in that particular context, Frugal 4 refers to the 4 European countries that have opposed the idea of Corona bonds. What are the 4 countries? Germany, Netherlands, Finland and Australia. Now, what is the reason for opposition from these countries? Say for example, imagine a scenario where a person X and a person Y are good friends. Now, does it mean that if a bank, say SBI, gives a loan to Y and says that let X be equally liable for the loan that Y takes just because he happens to be his friend? Now, is it right to expect X to pay equally when X does not have any idea about how Y is going to spend? Probably the idea of expenditure for X is different from that of Y. Say for example, X decides that he wants to spend on education, healthcare and future economic revival. But Y's priority is going to be something else. He wants to invest that money in tourism sector or any other sector like say pensions for their old age. Take the example of the Greece crisis that happened. Mostly Greece crisis is because the governments one after another decided that the old age population or the social sector benefits should continue despite bad economic situation, and those economic benefits were exorbitant by any standard. And collectively, just because Greece happened to be a country that is dependent on the rest of the European countries, the European Union member countries economy has took a bad hit, and that is the reason why these Frugal 4 countries or the better performing countries believe that unless and until we know about the expenditure pattern of the member states, we cannot allow for a collective responsibility. That is why Germany has insisted that it should be the individual responsibility of the EU member states to keep their finances in order. That is to say, instead of going for a collective debt, let the countries which actually require the debt borrow from the European Bank depending upon their own financial situation. rather than asking all the member countries to collectively borrow and collectively pay. There is a strong reason for why Germany behaves in this particular way. After the World War II, Germany has seen that a strong economy is the basis for any country's future. Time and again, due to the experience of the World War II's crisis, Germany has strongly insisted that it will never borrow money, and government borrowing is continuously discouraged despite any government coming to the power. Even in the present situation, Germany is against government borrowing. It is this ideology that is stopping Germany, and logically also it is right to expect, without understanding the expenditure pattern of the different countries, it is not right for collective debt. Having said that, European Union has come together on the ideology that it shall be a political union which shall also consider common problems. Now this crisis is far from just being a common problem. This is a crisis of monumental proportions. So other countries are pressurizing these frugal four countries to accept to these terms. That is the present situation, and that is the basics of Corona bonds. You have to know what frugal four means, you have to know what Corona bond means, what are the 6 countries. Let us have a look at a couple of questions now. Consider the following statements in the context of Corona bond. So all the EU countries have a liability to pay back the debt taken from EU Central Bank. Yes, this statement is right, as we have looked at in our explanation. Italy has been resisting the idea of Corona bond. Now you have to ask yourself this question. Due to COVID-19, what is the worst hit country? It is actually Italy. So why would Italy resist this idea of Corona bond? That would be the last country to resist this idea of Corona bond. So second statement is false, the first statement is right. That is the answer. Now let us have a look at the question number 2, which I want you guys to do some research and comment in the comment section. So consider the following statements regarding Eurozone. This is the basics of European Union that you have to understand. So all the members of EU are in Eurozone. Recently Britain has prepared plans to exit Eurozone. Which of the following statements are right? Please comment the answer in the comment section along with the explanation. So that's it for today's video. Thank you.